We go. All right. So we got market open right here. If you guys were looking to take the breakout, it was for a sell right there. Price did come down quite a bit. It looks like it already hit target down below. Um, Morning, Lila. Morning, guys. But yeah, so market is now open. We have a mixed bias right now with regards to direction of price. We are currently, we had PPI this morning. PPI was, if you guys don't know what PPI is, producer price index. It was negative. So it was negative. Price over here, you can see obviously it spiked around a bit when PPI came out, spiked up, then it spiked down. Kind of a crazy spike right there. Market open is now spiking around again. So I'll kind of wait for price here to stabilize before I start looking for entries. The overall direction here is a little mixed. It's somewhat bullish for the most part, but it's still a little mixed for the overall direction here. You can see a big spike to the bottom, big spike to the top. What I'm going to wait for here is I'm going to wait for liquidity to get wiped out on either side. So I want there to be either just mainly buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity. I don't want there to be mix because when there's mix, typically price will just, chop up between this area. So I'm not really looking to take anything just yet. I'm hoping I get something today because market's been, it's been not the best this week for inflation week. So we didn't get any trades yesterday. I was hoping we'd get something, but we didn't. I mean, again, right here, it's very mixed. I'm just looking for a couple of setups here, a couple of my main setups. Momentum, MPS V2s, breakout V3s, break and retest off these liquidities. Mainly these break and retests. I think the break and retests are going to help a lot. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see right now. Yeah, there's not much here to really work with at the moment, but we will continue following through and kind of just see where price ends up going from here. Price is pushing back down lower. I'm going to look for this buy side liquidity to get wiped out. Once it gets wiped out, I'll probably start looking for some sells. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to be a little cautious. One thing that I started to realize with a lot of my analysis here is that while order flow is great and it's helpful and it's useful, I don't think it's like an end all be all. So the problem is like we've been using order flow lately and we've been looking for entries and confirmations. The thing with the order flow is that yeah, it's helpful and it's really it increases our confidence in our trade when it aligns, but it's not like required, right? Because I've noticed over the past couple of days, past couple of weeks, when I confirm order flow, like I'll see an entry, but if the order flow doesn't align with it, I end up not taking a trade and I end up missing out on a good trade. So I'm gonna keep order flow on the back burner. It's still gonna be like a final confluence, but it's not gonna like be an end all be all. So I think the main thing that I'll be looking at and focusing on is like the overall direction, and then I'm looking for the strength of rejections off these buy side and sell side liquidities. Because typically, if we do get a big wick rejection, so for example, if price comes down, we get a huge wick rejection off the buy side liquidity. Usually, the order flow is going to align with it most of the time. Um, yeah, and it goes back to what I've talked about this in the past before. Like order flow is great, but it's not like I don't think it's like super necessary when it comes down to looking for entries and taking entries and whatnot. All right, so we got price coming down a little bit lower. There was a break and retest right here off this sell side liquidity. Let me see how big the candle was. Candle looks a little huge right here. Well, not huge, about 35 points. It's not a strong wick rejection though off the top end, so not one I'd be looking to jump into. Plus, there's still some sell side or some buy side liquidity right here. So I'm looking for this buy side liquidity here to get a little wiped out. It doesn't have to be completely wiped out, but for the most part, I'll be watching for it. There's no MPS V2s here. I mean, technically, there's an MPS V2 right here at the 631 candle. A little messy right there, but the volatility volume is like a little low. So right here, there was a MPS V2. It was an invalid sell signal, so it's not one of those that I'd typically be looking at. Right here, there's a break and retest off the sell side liquidity. So if you really wanted to take that as a sell, you could have. I wouldn't say it's like the best setup, but I mean, there's still a setup there in a sense. Um, Personally, I wouldn't really take the entry here for myself because there's still a buy side liquidity hanging out right here, right? Like I said, I want the buy side liquidity to get wiped out first before I start looking for opportunities. Um, the thing with this buy side liquidity is that it's old buy side liquidity though. So this isn't from this session. You can see it kind of gets cut short right here because this is from previous day, which is fine because that could be liquidity for, your actual entry. So we got the setup right here. It's currently running. This is a break and retest off the sell side liquidity. Again, I would ideally like this buy side liquidity to, for the most part, disappear first before I start looking for entry. So what I'm going to look for here is I'm going to look for price to push down, push up, provide another sell side liquidity, and then allow me to get in from somewhere down here. But there's nothing else right here at the moment. If you look at the overall direction, the daily, here, I'll just put a line over here. This is going to be the daily midpoint. It's not super necessary, but it's good to know and good to see where the daily midpoint is so you can see where everything's going to flip to bearish. There goes the daily midpoint right there. So as you guys can see, it's not a very strong push to the downside because there's still buy side liquidity right here. There's areas for price to bounce, right? And that's why I personally don't want to take trades unless it's a very clean bottom side where there's no buy side liquidity holding it off. Because there could be areas right here where price can just bounce at any moment. And it's gonna be tough when you're going for a 50-point target, right? My TP stop loss is 50. I hate the fact that there's a bunch of buy side liquidity over here because look at where price is rejecting off the buy side liquidity, right? So I'm not looking for any entries here just yet. Again, if you wanted to take these entries, you can take them at your own risk, but I'm waiting for this buy side liquidity over here to get wiped out first before I start looking for any entries. So basically looking for price to push above 54 and 50. So in order for there to be buying confidence, price would have to be up here, like very strong buying confidence on the higher scale. Price would have to be up there. Vice versa for bearish, price would have to be below 53,830, like way down here. Yeah. So basically, for me to have confidence in the sells, I need price to be down here, basically wipe out all this buy side liquidity. And then vice versa, for me to take buys, I need price to be up here above the 54 and 50, which is going to align with what I was just talking about earlier, right? So I'm looking for price to wipe out all of this liquidity right here. Once this liquidity is wiped out and we just have buy side liquidity, then great. I'm going to look for buys. Vice versa, if price comes down and wipes out all this buy side liquidity from the bottom side, then I'm going to look for some sells. But I'm not really looking for entries until price really pushes, above here, which might be the case. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like price here might be the case because we're pushing right back up. If we go to the clean chart, we have like a pretty big range right here. So these are the previous zones from yesterday. I don't really touch anything here. Here is the, yeah. So price is actually, it respected this support zone right here, and it's pushing back into this upper range. So this is like the old range from yesterday. And this is the opening price from yesterday, actually. So we'll see if it holds above here. Like I said, I'm looking for buys higher because I want the sell side liquidity to get wiped out. So I'm not really looking. I think my main focus here is I'm gonna wait for price to really push up higher. Is I'll look for price to push above here and I'll look for buys above this area. I mean, vice versa. For me to take sells, the daily midpoint's like way down here. So I probably won't be looking for sells until price comes down here, like comfortably. You can see we're just in this big range right now. So I really just want these sell side liquidities to get wiped out. So I want price to push above here, mitigate the sell side liquidity, mitigate this one, and then push up higher. And then I could look for entries for sells above this area right here. Here we go. As price pushes back up higher. We're pushing above the opening price. See, there's no MPS V2s right now. There's no breakout V3s. There's no entries right now at all. There's no RSI momentums. There's no daily momentum. Yeah, there's like literally no entries here at the moment. The buys here are starting to look good though. If price can hold above, I'm looking at the higher time frame. There's not really too much liquidity sitting above unless it's like super, super far above. Higher, we just need price to hold. So right here again, price is sitting at the opening price. I need price to push up here to wipe out the sell side liquidity. Then I can start looking for buys to the upside. There's a break and retest right here off this buy side liquidity, but I wouldn't take it because again, like I said earlier, I need there to be a push to the upside up here, and there needs to be a strong wick rejection off this buy side liquidity. Otherwise, price is going to chop up around this area. If you want to trade the chop, that's completely fine. You guys can do that. I personally wouldn't do it, but if you guys want to, it's up to you guys how you guys want to run that. Um, there's nothing here right now. Price is really just sitting here down the middle. No news. Yeah, there's not really too much here. We just had PPI right there pre-market, and then now market here is kind of flattened out a little bit. All right, so I'm waiting again. I'm just waiting for price to push above or push below. Ideally push above, but you can see price is still stuck within this. It's either going to range above here or range down here. There's two big ranges, right? The upper range, the lower range. So now that price is holding below this resistance level, probably gonna chop up around here. I'm really hoping we get some directional push because this whole week it's just kind of been like this. It's been a lot of chop, not a lot of direction. Looking at the overall bias right here, it's still pretty mixed. The 4 hour is let's see, the 4 hour is gonna be around like 4 o'clock, I believe. Yeah, or 3 o'clock actually. So this is gonna be the 4 hour midpoint. This is gonna change at 7 o'clock, of course. So yeah, so price is respecting the 4 hour midpoint. You can see right there, it's a break and retest off the level right there. If you guys, again, if you wanted to take this as a break and retest off this buy side liquidity, you can. I personally wouldn't take it because we still have the sell side liquidity up here. So there's areas for price to bounce off of, and I don't like that, right? So again, if you want to take this right here as a break and retest off the buy side liquidity, because price did break above here, establish the buy side liquidity, and it's retesting. I don't think it's a good entry because there's a big wick on top. If there was just a big wick on the bottom, not on top, this would be a better entry. But even if you were to take this right here, price could push up and then possibly reverse off this level right here, which is the opening price, or reverse off the sell side liquidity there. So again, if you feel the need to be into a position, there's something there. It's just not a good setup. Plus, I'm looking at the order flow. Order flow looks there's a lot of buying and selling pressure on both sides. So there's a bunch of selling pressure that happened on this top wick, and then a bunch of buying pressure that happened on this bottom wick. So not a good setup overall. Um, I did see some absorption right here on the 640. What I'm mainly looking at the order flow for is like really the absorption. But again, if you wanted to take this entry right here, like I said, there was an opportunity there, but for one, the candle wasn't strong, and for two, we still have sell side liquidity above. But I'll just leave that there for you guys to follow. Let me see if there's anything here really to look at or to analyze. So market opened up green. It had some absorption from the top end. Price dropped down quite a bit, started to getting absorbed from the bottom. And then it flipped back up right here at 637. It's right here. And price pushed up a bit, started getting some absorption from the top end. Yeah, there's no confluences here. So I was looking to see if there was any confluence, to see if there was any, absorption to kind of work with, but realistically, no, there wasn't. So again, right here, price is pushing up. Again, if you want to take that break and retest, it's currently running in profit. Price pushed up, retested right here off this green candle. We'll see if it holds above the opening price. It's almost up to its target right there. We're starting to get a lot of sell side pressure or buy side pressure from the bottom end of these wicks. So there you go, full TP on that entry right there if anybody decided to jump into that. Like I said, I'm not looking to jump into anything until we wipe out these sell side liquidities. So now that we are above here, I'm going to look to see if this area gets wiped out, because if it does, I'm going to be looking for a possible buy up here. And you can see our bias right here is starting to turn all bullish, which is great. So I'm going to watch here to see. This here has to get wiped out first before I can start taking entry though. So I actually wanted to push up, maybe close above here, then come back down, wick off this area, and then push up higher. If we get that, I'm going to look for a setup down there. All right, never mind. Does not look like we're gonna get it because this here is actually mitigating the buy side liquidity. So this huge red candle right here just mitigated it. A lot of selling pressure from that top wick right there. All right, never mind. Take that back. So the first entry right here just hit full TP. Unfortunately, that's all we got. We didn't get a continuation up higher. We're really stuck in this range, guys. So let's take a look at this right here. Like I said earlier, this is the range that we were in prior, and it's still stuck right here. Try to push above and push into this upper range, and then maybe, hold above here, but that wasn't the case. There's no acceptance up here. Price pushed up here, faked out, pulled back below, faked out again right here, pulled back below. Price is really holding into this lower range down here. We still have sell side liquidity here that needs to get wiped out before I can start looking for buys. And then vice versa. I mean, if price keeps dropping lower, I might be able to look for some sells here instead. But the problem with this is even if we do get a sell opportunity here, there's going to be a lot of buy side liquidity just hanging out right here. So I don't feel comfortable taking sells here, because every time you take a sell, price can easily just bounce off one of these levels, right? So ideally, I want price to push up, because if we push up and we can wipe out these sell side liquidities, we have a lot of open space up here. I just don't know if we're going to have enough push to actually hold above there. So again, look at how price is pushing down here. See how we're getting a huge wick on the bottom? That's because we have a lot of liquidity sitting right here. So there's probably a lot of resting orders here, a lot of buy resting orders. So every time price gets down here, it just gets just like it gets wicked right back up because there's pending orders just hanging out down here. And then again, this candle here has a bunch of buying pressure on this bottom wick, specifically right here and down at the very bottom. But we'll see. I mean, price here it's in an obvious range. So we'll just have to see if there's some sort of opportunity here to get in. Ideally, I hope we do because this market here isn't the best. So again, right here, price is now pushing below. This could start to set up for a possible MPS V2. I'll watch for it. There's a breakout V3 that came up right here. There's no order flow confluence on it. It's a little too tricky of an entry for me because, like I said, there's a lot of buy side liquidity hanging out right here. So here's a little caveat, but it's not going to apply in this setup here. Here's a caveat. If we had a setup here for a sell, but say we had buy side liquidity that was right here, right? Say if our target was like before we reached buy side liquidity, I would maybe be okay with taking an entry and then getting out before it reached the buy side liquidity. The problem is there's a lot of buy side liquidity over here, so I don't think it's not going to be an opportunity for today because your target's not going to be close enough to get out before you get some possible rejection off these levels, right? Because there's a lot of buy side liquidity over here, and there's a lot of opportunity to get screwed. Price can push down, bounce, 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 and then vice versa down here and lower. There's just a lot of opportunities right here to get a reversal. So I wouldn't really want to take any sells here, just in my opinion, from what I'm seeing, unless there's like a clean wipe out of this area. So if price, here's an example. If price pushes below here and then it finally rejects up and then it comes back down, then in that situation, okay, I'll take sells somewhere around here. But I'm not going to take sells down here where there's still rejection points. And you can see right here, every time price pushes down, I mean, it looks good, but then it starts to get a huge, huge wick on the bottom because the buy side liquidity is absorbing the sell entries, right? So there's sellers here trying to push price down, but every time price comes down, there's absorption from the bottom end. Like this candle right here has a big wick on the bottom. There's a lot of buy orders that are pushing price up. Most of these are, like I said, they're just resting buy orders. So every time price gets pushed down, buy orders get triggered, and it's just absorbing all of the sellers. So they're not actively participants. They're just like either stop losses getting filled or just people offloading their buy positions from earlier. Because price has been bullish since pretty much market open, since Asia session over here. Yeah, it was initially bearish and then it corrected all the way back up. All right, here we go as price pushes back up again. I'm not in any positions here. Like I said, I'm waiting for there to be a clean direction. In order for me to get that, I need price to really push up. Let me see how far is this right here. There's still a possibility. So there's a possibility of this area getting wiped out. In order for me to take buys, I need this area to really get taken out. So there's no entries for me right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Um, Again, I'm looking for my basic entries here, MPS V2, break and retest off the liquidity, which we don't have any of that yet right now. The 4 hour, 1 hour, and 30-minute midpoints are going to adjust at 7 o'clock. We're not there yet, but they are going to adjust at 7 o'clock. So you can see we're currently sitting at the 4 hour midpoint, but this will change once we get closer to 7 o'clock or once we get to 7 o'clock. So we have about 6 minutes until the threshold moves. And a little bit of a push to the downside. Hey, so we're getting a lot of absorption on the bottom, guys. I'm just watching as price comes down lower. There's a lot of buy orders getting filled from the bottom side again. So again, if you're looking to take sells here, I'd say just be cautious because there's a lot of resting orders right here. It's just buy side liquidity. right? I don't like when there's orders on both sides like that. Every time price comes down, you start to get a big wick on the bottom end because buyers are holding the level. This right here, let's see, there's an MPS V2 that looks like it executed. Let me check. Okay, so there's for I mean for whatever reason, or actually it's not for whatever reason, there is an MPS V2 here. I mean I wouldn't take it, but there was an MPS V2 that came up right here. So sell signal, retracement, confirmation on this red candle right here. Again, I'm not taking any entries here because, or I'm not taking any sell entries here at least because there's a lot of buy side liquidity right here. So if I was to take a sell opportunity or a sell entry right here, like there's so many areas where I can get screwed, right? Because there's so many buy liquidity right there. So I'm not taking any sells here. I'm actually looking for buys. I'm looking for the sell side liquidity here to get mitigated. So right here, price is pushing up. We're getting another sell side liquidity right here. I need this to wipe out. Basically, I need price to push up, mitigate the sell side liquidity, and then I needed to mitigate this. And then once it mitigates that, then I'll look for some buys above here. Yeah, but at this very moment, price is just chopping up around this area. I'm not looking for any trades here. Obviously, you guys can see over here, there wasn't even a alignment with the overall direction of price. So it's not an area that I'd look for sales at all. It's actually more bullish than it is bearish. I drew up the midpoints over here. So like in order for me to take sells, I would have needed price to be like below here, the daily midpoint, which we never got to, right? This is where the daily candle opened from yesterday. So until that happens, this is going to be bullish. The daily over here is 31%. Well, the candle's 31% out of the 100, and they would have to align for a sell, which we don't have. You can see here, price is just chopping up. It's just chopping it back and forth between this point. Again, that's another reason why I'm waiting for the sell side liquidity to get wiped out. Because once this sell side liquidity gets wiped out, we'll probably break out of this range. And then I can start looking for buys up here. Just a matter of time, matter of patience. Maybe closer to 7 or after 7, actually. And we'll get some volatility. The ATR is not horrible today. It's currently at 30, so it's a little better than yesterday. Yesterday, we were at 20 ATR, so there was no opportunity at all. You guys know that's my threshold. If the ATR drops below 20, usually not even look for any opportunities for entry because the market's too slow. Today, the market isn't like it's moving, but it's not moving directional, at least not yet. All right. So again, guys, we are just waiting. All right. See if we get some more direction here. Let me look at these price points, 53,830. So I'm just looking at my analysis from this morning. It just mentioned if price stays within 53,830 and 54,150, it's probably going to be in a range or a failed momentum scenario, which is, I mean, literally what's happening right now. So price is kind of sitting within this middle area, 53,830, which is right here, or way down here, actually. So basically that range is between 53,830 and 54,150. Yeah, so until price breaks out of this area right here, we're going to be stuck in this range. I'm just looking at my pre-market analysis because I did have this every morning. I run a morning brief to kind of see where price is at. Yeah, in order for me to take any sells, it has to be below here, which aligns with my daily momentum or my daily midpoint, or it has to be above here, which is where the sell side liquidity is. We're getting close to it though, so we're starting to push up. This is great. Okay, look, we're getting a push to the upside right here. We're now back above the open. I need this to get mitigated. Once this gets mitigated, I'm gonna look for some buy side liquidity and I'm gonna look for a retest in that area or that direction. All right, looking good so far for our buys. There we go. We got a mitigation of that buy side liquidity. We need it to actually close above there though. So you can see right here, it's coming and it's going. You need to actually close above there. Once we get that, I'm gonna be looking for buys here, guys. 7 o'clock, this 4 hour midpoint got moved higher. There we go. So this is the 4 hour, 1 hour, and 30-minute midpoint. So I'm looking for buys here. Well, I needed to close above here. We need to actually confirm. So this needs to close above the year to mitigate that sell side liquidity. And we got it. Okay, perfect. This is great. I'm looking for a retest of these levels now. So this is going to start to set up for MPSV2 as well. So what I like to see here is I like to see a retest of, either this buy side liquidity or a new one, just wherever it ends up going. I'm looking at the order flow right now. The order flow is actually looking pretty decent. We have some pressure from the bottom side. 30 seconds left on here. There's no actual retest of this, so there's no setup for me yet. But I need price to come down, retest or just wick off the buy side liquidity basically. We got 20 seconds left on this candle. I'm gonna keep watching the charts because I'm anticipating an entry coming up pretty soon if we do have opportunity here. It's not there yet, but we are waiting for it. All right, we're pushing up higher right now. We got another buy side liquidity over here. It's not established yet, but watching for it. My buying zone's above 150 right here. So if price can hold above 54 and 50, I think we're in a great place. Either way, the momentum is pushing up. So that's going to be the target area. This is my bullish acceptance window right here, basically. I could trade within this area, but if prices hold above here, we're going to probably keep pushing up higher. It's got to accept above here. This is the long-term direction. It's not just short-term, but on the higher time frames too for the entire day. All right, we got about 9 seconds left on here. This candle would have to close like a decent green candle. Or actually, no, not yet. Sorry. This hasn't established yet. Okay, now we are here. So I need to see a nice wick rejection off this right here. If this candle pulls back quite a bit, maybe slightly mitigates this level and then it pushes back up as a green candle, this could be opportunity for a buy, for a break and retest off this buy side liquidity. This previous candle over here established the buy side liquidity. This one right here is a retest. So I'll be watching. This candle has about 30 seconds left on it, so it has a lot of time. So this candle's got to close like a decent green candle. If it does, I'll be looking to jump in here for a buy. See, we got like 20 seconds left on it. I gotta wait for it to close. I'm not gonna get in early. Yeah, it's gotta close. About 5 seconds left on it. 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna get in.
Order filled.
Let's see.
Order submitted.
$132 target. Adjust that a little bit. $0.32. 32 target. All right, so I'm just gonna let the trade kind of breathe. It'll probably take a while for it to kind of move through because the volatility here is not super heavy or super high. But that was a setup that I was looking for. So we'll watch it here. This price moves along. And yeah, we'll just kind of see how price here moves along. It's a big range, so it's gonna probably take a while. The volatility here is not super high. It's at 28. So yeah, just gonna let the trade breathe there for a bit. We don't have any buy side liquidity, or I mean sell side liquidity, so this might kind of bounce around a little bit. It might even retest this lower buy side liquidity right here and then push back up. But I think this trade's gonna run for a bit, maybe like 10, 20 minutes or so. But I'm gonna leave it alone. I'll keep watching it. We'll see. You guys can see we're currently in this big range right now, sitting around entry point at the moment. You see the order flow over here. So we're getting a retest off this buy side liquidity right there. If you want to get in lower, I mean, you guys can. If we get a wick rejection right there, this could be another second opportunity running alongside it. So I'll probably put two right next to each other. Low volatility here, so we'll see if this here ends up holding around this area. If this candle here closes with a decent green candle, this could be another opportunity again if you didn't get in on that first retest of that buy side liquidity. This could be a second one. And look at that huge wick right there. That's a crazy candle right there. I don't know what happened right there, but there was a huge spike to the downside. This was like yeah, almost a 50-point spike down. Let me check the news real quick. I don't know what caused that volatility spike down right there. Let me see, did Trump post something today? That's a big spike. Um, no, I don't see anything on Trump's page. Let me check the news real quick. Yeah, I don't know what caused that spike right there, guys. A huge spike down right there. It was a 50-point spike. I mean, it's going to be tough for our position now because our positions dropped down quite a bit after that spike. I don't see any updates here. Let me see the news for this morning. I don't think there was news at 7 o'clock either. There's just gas stock change that's later at 7:30. But if we get stopped out of this position, like I said, it's fine. It's a one contract move for 50 points. So it gave me enough cushion here to survive if there's any mess here. Looks like price is pushing back up. So let's see if we get that correction back up right here. We did get a rejection off that buy side liquidity, so that's good. There's no second opportunity there for the retest. But let's see. If price pushes up, this will be good because it'll wipe out the sell side liquidity. We have basically liquidity hanging out right here for the sellers. Or for the, yeah, basically the people who entered sells right here, their stops are hanging out around this area. So if it pushes up and we get to this higher high, we'll get some liquidity push to the upside. For my positions, like I said before, guys, I'm taking very low risk, just one contract. So these positions are very minimal, very minimal. And we'll see if you get some volatility here. I mean, ideally, I want these trades to play out, but again, I'm taking low risk on these trades, so they're not like they're not too stressful as like taking like a big position. Okay, it looks like we're kind of stuck here in the chop. So I mean, I'm hoping price starts to pick back up, but we're pretty much in this. It's a chop again right here. Price came up, it faked out right here at this upper end, and then it's just kind of chopping up around this lower range. So we already had this range marked up pre-market, and then we had this lower range over here. And then price is trying to push above here. This is where we're trying to get into our positions above here so that we can hold above here and push up higher, right? So again, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for price to push back up above this area, hold above here, and then continue up higher. Again, if we get stopped out of here, it's completely fine. I mean, we're stuck in this chop, so it's going to be hard for us to get any higher from where we're currently at. It was a clean area though, where we got our position in from. There wasn't any sell side liquidity up there to stop it. But yeah, it looks like we might be stuck within this middle chop area right here, or not chop, but this middle range. So we'll see. See if it holds though. If it holds, great. I mean, if it holds up around this middle point and then it pushes right back up and holds above here and then goes up higher, great. But just from the looks of it, the volatility is a little lower. We're down to 27 ATR. Let me check the other assets actually too. So NQ is bullish, ES is bullish, YM could follow through and be bullish as well. It's just kind of sitting right there right now. But the other indexes, they're all bullish right now. ES is bullish, NQ is bullish. YM is kind of just flat right now. It's staying flat. But if it follows through with these other assets, I mean, we could see a correction back up higher. Yeah, YM is just flat. You can see right here, it's not really doing much. Yeah, it's kind of odd. It's odd to see YM kind of flat like this while everything's kind of moving bullish. Because usually YM is the leading asset. For the past week, YM's kind of just been holding the position, or it's been holding the direction, and then these have actually been lagging behind it. But today, I guess there's like I think there's earnings for some AI stocks. That's probably why NQ's pushing up the tech stocks. ES probably has some of those stocks in line with it, and then YM. Obviously, YM's. If you guys are not familiar with how these indexes work, YM is basically the top overall 30 stocks. NQ is the top 100 tech stocks mainly, and ES is the top overall 500 stocks. So that's why they're not always going to move the same, but usually they start to align at some point or they tend to align. Yeah, it's just Wyman is really flat right now. The ATR is, I mean, the ATR across all of them are kind of flat, but Wyman is extra flat. All right, we're still stuck within the range right here. Like I said, ideally, I want price to push up and hold above this area. We might get that. I'm looking at the order flow right now, and we're starting to get buying pressure from the bottom end. So, like starting from 707 right here, we started to get some absorption. Price came down very sharply. It started to absorb right here, and then we started to get buy buildup right here at 708. This over here had some selling pressure actually, and then this candle right here had some buying pressure. Pretty much majority of these candles right here, it established a support level right here. If you're looking at the order flow, and then it starts to build up the buyers at this point. So again, we're getting a correction back up as we speak, which is great. I'm gonna watch the position. If the position doesn't really move too much, then I might just move my target a little closer to get out early. Because this position's running for a while now. We're still in the position. It's still in drawdown at the moment, but we're currently down like 25 points. So we're like halfway mark. What I would have liked to see here is like, well, it's obviously holding above the buy side liquidity. But what I want to see here is I want price to blast right through, pretty much push through liquidity right here off the sell side liquidity and then the upper one. And I'd like it to actually climb higher. So we're pushing back to our entry point. We're just down 14 points right now, but it is pushing back up. So it's looking good for the most part. Only problem here is that we're at the sell side liquidity. Like I said before, I don't like it when there's sell side liquidity here because price can bounce off these points. And if it bounces off these points, it just creates a range, right? It's just ping ponging between the sell side liquidity and the buy side liquidity. So what I want to see here is I want price to blast through here and wipe out this sell side liquidity so that we can push up higher. Otherwise, it's probably just going to chop up in range here for a bit. This is why I take lower risk. I've half my contract size down to like one. Initially I was taking like four contracts, but I halved it down to two. And then now because I'm taking multiple entries, I halved it down to one. So I can take multiple entries. Plus, I don't have to really feel at risk when I'm in these positions. I could kind of just let them breathe, right? I also adjusted from a 1 to 2 risk reward to a 1 to 1 to give me some more space. Because you guys can see this market's so choppy that you need that space to survive. And here we go. We're getting a push back up right now. It's currently only down like 10 points. We're getting back to the entry point right there. This is looking good so far. I'm gonna hold on to it for a second. And we're obviously in chop right now, so I'm gonna think about maybe possible exit points here because we're just chopping up around this area right here. So I'm gonna keep watching to see if there is any buying pressure from the bottom side. And then if we don't get a lot of buying pressure from the bottom side, or if it just kind of stays flat around here again, I'm gonna think about areas where I can maybe want to pull out from, like maybe the 100, maybe the 90. I mean, it's really just chopping between these areas right here. You can see it's just ping-ponging between the sell side liquidity and this buy side liquidity right here. This wasn't happening when we got into our entry initially. So we initially got in from like way up here. There was no chop, there was no range. My price now is in this chop range, which is not a good, it's not a good look. Because when it's in this chop and range, it's going to break out eventually, either to the upside or to the downside. Ideally, of course, you want it to push up to the upside, but I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I'm looking at the order flow. The order flow, the candles are actually getting smaller, and they're not really showing much of a direction here. So if I get stopped out of the position, it's fine. Obviously, I would love for this to push back up, but if I get stopped out, it's fine. I'm gonna try to get into maybe one more, hopefully. And I got stopped out. We got another big spike to the downside right
Order
here.
filled.
Yeah. I don't know where these big spikes are coming from to the downside. Again, it's a huge wick right there. You guys can see it's super annoying. uh how these like there's these big red candles that just popped up twice today so far and within a few seconds or a few minutes actually. So we had this big spike right here as a 50-point spike and then again another 50-point spike right here, but it's a big wick. Like I don't know what's causing these spikes that like spikes down and there's no news right now. Yeah, unfortunately spiked down on that one. Let me take a look at the other entries. I don't think anything is really hitting today because we're stuck in this chop. There's not really much going on. But yeah, big spike right there. There's no update in the news. I don't know what's really causing these spikes. Trump hasn't posted anything. Like they're not small spikes. These are like above 50-point spikes. Here, let me go check real quick. Yeah, look at this huge spike right here. Let me check it, measure it. So we were just ranging right here. Yeah, it's like a 60-point spike right there. And then it pushed all the way back up. Hmm. Frustrating. Okay, well, whatever. I'll see if I can get another one. And then this thing, so this is actually another setup right here because I mean, obviously it wicked out this whole area and then now it's another opportunity there for a buy. I wouldn't be able to jump into this one because this one, I was in this position already currently. So unfortunately, I got spiked out right there again. And then I wouldn't be surprised if this thing pushes all the way up to my target, which is really going to piss me off if it does, which I do think it's going to happen. Um, I don't know what this is literally, we've talked about this with the past couple of weeks. I don't know why this happens, but it's literally happening to me almost every time I take a position. It spikes me out and it goes straight to target. Um, there's another opportunity right here, like I said, but there's no way I could get into this second one because I was still in this previous one right here. They would have overlapped. So this one's currently running. Man, look at this candle though. I don't understand what look at this huge wick. There's no candles like aside from the opening candle. So this is when market opened up. But other than that, there's no other candles that have a wick this huge. And the worst part about this is that I got hit with slippage on this one because it spiked out so fast. And then now it's pushing right back up. Yeah, so Rashida said it pulled back to a fib level, pull back on the 5 minute. Yeah, I could see that, but I don't understand like why did it spike so hard, right? That's what I'm trying to understand, like why it spiked down. Because I could, if it pulled back slow and then maybe like eventually hit that level and came back up, then yeah, totally. But this over here, and yeah, this pissed me off because this is gonna hit target. I already know it's gonna hit this target, then it's gonna hit this one right after. Um, and I couldn't get into this one. If I got stopped out earlier, like on the previous candle right here, then okay, because I could enter on this next one. But the problem is I couldn't enter into this one because this trade was still running at the time. Gosh, Rishi, I see your level right there. Yeah, your fib zone lines up exactly with my buy side liquidity right here. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Look at that. Fucking pissing me off. So full TP right there, and this one as well. That's crazy. Oh wow, that's fucking I'm at a loss of words, guys. There's nothing I can. There's no analysis I could have done differently that could have that could have saved me from this. The trade literally did what it's been doing every time. My direction's always been right. I even widened my stop loss just to survive stuff like this. But yeah, today again, it's just another another unlucky entry. Yeah. Trading doesn't get any easier, guys. I know a lot of you guys ask, like, does trading get easier? It doesn't because you're gonna run into these windows where you get just a lot of unlucky trades. And there wasn't enough here for me to like I would have jumped into this one if I would have lost this trade earlier. So if this would have stopped me out right here, which would have been completely fine. If it would have stopped me out at 707, great. Stop me out right there, and then I would have jumped in for a recovery entry right here because I'd recoup my loss. The problem with this here is this trade ran for so long, I didn't have opportunity to get into this one because it stopped me out and then it went up in profit. So yeah, this is gonna push up right there. This is where I have my level. I said if price reaches this point, there's gonna be bullish acceptance. Um, that's kind of where I'm waiting for. So I'm waiting for price to push above here. I'm gonna look for another opportunity now. So I'm looking for price to sweep this level here and then push up higher from there. There could be a possible MPSV2 here as well. All right, well, nothing I can do about this position. So I can't keep getting pissed off about this. It is what it is. The trade looked good at the time, and then it obviously got stopped out right there. It looked good, like even when it first opened. So this candle right here, we entered on this one, or at the close of this one, price pushed up, retraced back, retested the the buy side liquidity, and then this pushed up like pretty good, about like 20 something points, 30 points, and then it ended up reversing. And then it sat here for a bit, and then it ended up hitting target eventually. So there's two entries so far of like what I've been looking for. This was like the main setup, this and then an MPSV2. This candle over here, this actually, so there was a lot of confluences on this entry. This is why I was very confident about taking it. Um, so price reversed here. It came down, came back up here. We had a bullish confluence with regard to trend. The price confluence was also bullish, and then we had an MPSV2. So this break and retest right here aligned with an MPSV2. We had a buy signal, retracement confirmation on this one, and that was the entry for the buy. Now looking at this over here, we had price come down, and then it retested this area a second time, and that's where the second entry would have came up. Now, there could be another entry up here, and this is what I'm going to be looking for. The main issue that I'm going to be concerned about is the volatility if I'm going to be able to hit 50 points as we get closer to 8 o'clock. The ATR has dropped from 30 to 25, so the volatility obviously has dropped down quite a bit. Between 7:30 and 8, it does kind of slow down a bit with regard to market volatility and direction. But I'm looking for price here to do the same thing, come down, retest the buy side liquidity, and then push up from there. Yeah, I'm gonna look for this here to push up from there. All right. Let's see. Kenny, what did you say? Kenny said, if you're using the indicator, recommend keeping it on the 30-second chart. Okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind. He said the 1 minute fair value gaps are weak, bro. I mean, I wasn't just using the 1 minute. I was using there was a fair value gap there on the higher time frames too. Let me show you. I have multiple time frames here. It's not just the 1 minute. 1 minute's the chart that I'm using, but there was a rejection right there. The same entry that we took, there was a rejection off the 5 minute, there was a rejection off the 30 minute, and off the 1 hour. So there was multiple confluences there on different time frames. Um, yeah, I mean, aligned with like pretty much all these other time frames over here as well. So when I'm like using the fair value gaps, guys, I'm not using just the 1 minute. I'm using multiple time frame analysis. So that's why like this whole area right here was a good area in general. Because the 1 minute will follow through. So we initially had a rejection off the 5 minute, the 30 minute, the 1 hour. So, it just continued up higher. That's why this whole area was, I was good with taking buys around here. It's just, you're going to get chopped up on the 1 minute, of course. But it wouldn't matter if you're on the 1 minute, 5 minute, whatever time frame it is. This candle closed at 7:05. So this would have aligned with the 5 minute time frame. So this would be in line with um, a 5 minute entry, like if you were trading on the 5 minute. That's why I try to base mines off like the whole numbers. The 5 minute, 10, because if the 1 minute aligns with the five and aligns with the 10, sometimes you have like a multiple time frame confluence there. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm still looking for my second opportunity here, but we're just not getting it right now. I'm looking for price to break and retest off of this imbalance. And for this imbalance over here, we're not really getting that retest of it. I'm looking for a bit, like a pretty nice wick rejection. Doesn't have to be a huge one, but I'm looking for a wick rejection off this level right here so that we can ride this up higher because there's no sell side liquidity on this top end over here. Hoping we get one here because if I get one here, I can probably recoup my loss from that last trade over there. That should have been a win, unfortunately, but the volatility here is starting to get really slow. We got about 12 seconds left on this candle. I don't think we're going to have enough volatility here to like really close and provide opportunity. Let me check. MPSV2. Yeah, none of the directional strategies are working today. If you guys are using the bot. So there's no MPSV2s that have worked today. They've all gone stopped out. There's a breakout V3 that's been running for a while. So off this buy signal here, buy signal green candle right there. There's a breakout V3 that's been running for a while. Actually already hit target. It's already hit target right there. It's a breakout V3. There's no RSI momentums for the day, and there's no daily momentum for the day. This is no longer going to be a setup that I'm looking for, guys, because the price has been sitting right here for too long. In order for me to take these break and retests off these buy side liquidities, I need price to push up and then immediately show rejection off it. There could be one right here, but I don't think it's going to happen. So price is pushing down into this area right here. This candle has like 40 seconds. So this can still be opportunity if it just ends up wicking at the last second. But there's nothing showing me that that's going to happen here. I'm looking at the order flow right now. The footprint is not showing any buy side. It's not showing any absorption down here. So I think price is probably going to keep dropping down, probably try to eat up this liquidity. All right, there's no news today. Yeah, there's no, I mean, there's just well, there isn't even gas stock change today. The gas stock change was yesterday, actually. There was like a small gas stock change that happened here at 7:30, but it's not like the full one. Full one is yesterday on Wednesday. Other than that, there's not really too much here. The Fed was speaking pre-market at 5:40. I don't think he was still speaking at this time, but yeah, there's nothing there right now. All right, so we have another retest over here off the buy side liquidity. I wouldn't take this one right here. If you guys want to take it, you guys can. But I personally wouldn't take this one because we have sell side liquidity over here already. So I talked about this earlier. I don't like taking trades when there's liquidity on both sides. I want there to be one area that's been cleaned out. So in order for me to take buys, I need this area to get cleaned out. In order for me to take sells, which isn't this is not going to happen today. This area would have to get cleaned out, and these lower ones over here as well. So again, if you wanted to take this right here, we had a break and retest off this buy side liquidity. I personally wouldn't get into this, but if you guys wanted to, there is opportunity right there. We're gonna lean the session, guys. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get into something. I was hoping I'd be able to just recoup my trade on this one here, but yeah, again, I don't think we're gonna get that. I mean, we might. It's 7:32. We got like 30 minutes still, so we still have time. But yeah, I'm looking for price to push up, provide me opportunity for another retest of like one of these areas, and then continuation up higher. We're getting close to this bullish acceptance area, so like this is gonna be. Let me see. That bullish acceptance area is. It is the that's the previous day high. So that's the August 12th high. It's a prior session resistance. So that's the same thing Rashida was looking for, or what she is looking for price to come and grab or push above that area. So that's kind of where I'm in the same boat. I'm looking for price to push above there, but I need opportunities over here for me to take that. Problem again is the volatility is starting to get lower and lower. We initially started the session above 30 ATR, where we went dropped down to 25. We're now going closer to 20. It's not good. You don't really want to trade when the volatility is too low because you'll get stuck in this chop. So we might just get chop again right here. Price just ping-ponging between the sell side and the buy side liquidity. We have another sell side liquidity right here that are starting to overlap. There's no opportunities here, guys. We're just going to chop up between these two areas. Again, we have sell side liquidity and we have buy side liquidity right here. Until these areas get wiped out, we have one directional push, then there's not really going to be opportunity to get in. If you look over here at the overall direction of price, half is red, half is green. Again, it's not, there's not much of a bias here. Price is just going to chop up around this area until it doesn't. It's a lot of volume over here. All right, we're going to push back up right now as we speak. Let's see. Yeah, since we have some downtime right here, let's take a look at your tool, Kenny. I'll turn off the dashboard. You mentioned. How do we turn it off? I don't think you have an option here. Or there we go. All right, so let's see what your tool over here looked at and identified. So let's go back to you said 30 seconds, like the most accurate. So yeah, you mentioned that change of state. Hide my drawings here. Mm, let's go back. So the entry that we took earlier was like right here. It was at I just want to see like if there was anything that could have been helpful about your tool right there. 705. So let's just go over here. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here that your tool could have helped with that same entry. I was just trying to see if like, there's something that could have, I mean, it showed a change of state over here, change of state right there. And yeah, I mean, these are my zones. So like, obviously just trying to see if there's something there that could have like, it identified the change of state after we were in the position though. So like in hindsight, yeah, it did eventually. See when it identified that. It actually didn't identify it until like way later though. Yeah, so price was already way down here before it identified the change of state. Break and retest off that level right there. I could see why it identified that. Okay, I could kind of see how your tool works just from a glimpse of it. I can see how it identified the change of state. Yeah, no, it's cool. Cool tool. Um, yeah, I'll keep playing with it. I mean, I'll see if it could be useful to me. It just doesn't look any useful to me. If it could help me avoid like these chop up entries or it can help me improve on my direction. I don't think the direction is going to be a problem though, because my direction has never been wrong. It's always just been just getting chopped out of the trades like these big spike candles that come out of nowhere. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll keep playing with it. I'll kind of see if there's anything that I can use to like really help me with it. But unless you have an idea of like how it could be helpful, then you can let me know. But yeah, I just haven't found any use for it yet because I already know the direction. My direction is usually pretty right. Um, I really just need to find a way to. Well, I don't think there's going to be a way to figure this stuff out because there's always going to be levels on either end. Like price over here came and swept the buy side liquidity right there. I knew there was a buy side liquidity there. Um, so it wasn't like a surprise that the price was going to come down and maybe sweep this level. There's no way I could figure out or understand that, okay, this was going to spike here. Because if you look at the previous buy side liquidities, it doesn't usually sweep the level like that. That happens sometimes, but like if you look back to previous days, it doesn't really sweep through it and then come back up like it did right there, like a huge 70-point candle, and then it comes back up. You might get like a little sweep, like a 30-point sweep, maybe a 20-point sweep. But yeah, typically if it breaks through like that through a level, it'll usually, and this would be prime entry for me for the most part. This would have been prime entry for me because this is a strong green candle plus a very strong wick. I'm looking back at this candle over here. Let me just replay it from our entry from earlier. It wasn't a very strong wick, but it was strong enough compared to like the previous candles here. Yeah. Because it came in, it wicked down basically 50% of the buy side liquidity. So in hindsight, it doesn't look like a big rejection, but at the time of, it did look like a decent rejection there because whenever price wicks like, 50% of the imbalance, it's usually pretty decent rejection. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to look for my opportunity here for a later entry. I don't think there's going to be one because price is just ping-ponging between these buy side and sell side liquidities. In order for me to take buys, I need price to really be out of this area, and in order for me to take sells, I need price to be really outside of this area right here, which we're not getting at this point. It's 7:40 right now, so we got about 20 minutes until 8 o'clock. I am gonna keep looking for opportunity here, but like I said, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get one here. Yeah, because I don't think there's going to be much movement. The ATR is getting lower. It's down to 22 now. If we get down to 20, there's just like no opportunity there at all. I was watching the market yesterday after we got off. The market got really, really dead yesterday. So like typically, like I mentioned, my threshold is 12. If you guys followed the market yesterday, because I was looking like, okay, maybe I should keep trading past 8 o'clock. The volatility got down to like, I think 10 ATR. So you got out at 8 o'clock yesterday. And I was looking around 9 because like, okay, volatility is gonna maybe pick back up around 9. And I'll go over here real quick to show you guys. Like the ATR dropped to 10. Yesterday was extremely slow. So, I kind of like thought about, okay, maybe I should trade a little later into the session when the volatility picks back up. But you can see over here from example of yesterday, the market doesn't get any better, it just gets worse. Because we were trading yesterday around here. And again, this is the same thing that happened yesterday. Look at this big spike. So yesterday, I thankfully I wasn't in this position, but the same thing happened again yesterday right here. This candle over here, but this was because of Trump. So we know that this happened because of Trump. We pulled up his Truth Social app when that spike happened. This was a 100-point spike to the downside. So we know the reasoning behind this spike right here at 7:30. The spike today, I still don't have any reasoning why it spiked. I get why it came down to that level because I had a level here. There's a buy side liquidity, and then Rashida had her fib level down there as well. So there's a reason for it to come down. But for it to spike down like that, I don't have any reasoning behind it, which sometimes there just isn't reasoning. Like sometimes price will just spike down like that. Um, yeah, it's like a 50-point spike. Not as big as yesterday, but still big. 60 points. All right, let's see. We got price back down at this buy side liquidity. Um, Again, I was looking for my entry here, so I wanted price to come up, mitigate these sell side liquidities, and then retest up higher, but we don't have that here. Vice versa, if I'm looking for sells, I need price to wipe out these buy side liquidities and provide me opportunity down here. Main issue with these entries, if I do get something or if I do find something, is that the ATR is down to 22, so it's a low market, right? It's a low volatility market right now. I'm looking at the order flow. The volume is pretty low as well. It's below 100. This big candle over here was 300 volume on it. Now I'm curious. Let me see. This was at 717. How much volume was on that candle? Wow. Yeah, so this candle over here where it spiked down, this had 531 volume on it. That's extremely large compared to every candle before that was like 80 volume. So this was obviously an outlier candle. Um, Let me check this one over here too, because this was another big spike at 707. That one wasn't as bad. So that one over there was about 264 volume. So that wasn't like a 500 volume candle. But after that candle right there, everything died out and went below 100 volume per candle. And then that big spike was like 500 volume. That's a lot. Like I said earlier, guys, I wouldn't have mind if I got stopped out right here because I could have jumped back in right here for a second entry to recoup that loss. But unfortunately, I was holding on to this one up until that spike, and then it was too late to get in for the entry because I was already in the position. Um, there was another entry that came up right here. This was for a breakout V3. I mean, I wasn't looking to get into this. Let's see, that was at 720. There was some order flow confluence on it, not a lot, but there was some order flow confluence on it. There was some buying pressure from the bottom. And then let me go over here real quick. And let me see. Let me see what the overall direction was at the time. Yeah, it was all bullish. So this over here for a breakout V3, this here did align. Everything was bullish with regard to direction of price, and then also on top of that, it did have some order flow confluence below it, and then we had the sweep from here. So there's a couple confluences for that breakout V3. For those of you who maybe wanted to have maybe getting in on that, there was another MPS V2 that came up right here. This obviously didn't play out. It reversed straight down. That was at 725. And there was no order flow confluence on that one, so that wouldn't have been an entry I would have looked to take. Replay that there too. Yeah, no, I've been getting a lot of like, unfortunately, I'm just like I'm getting an unlucky streak right now. There's a wick rejection right here, guys. This over here would be I mean, if you wanted to take the sell, you could have, but we still have the buy side liquidity over here, so I personally wouldn't look to take this. The candle would have to close red, which it did. There's actually a couple different opportunities right here. I mean, there weren't very strong ones, but there were a couple opportunities right here. So the price came down, retested right here, so there could have been a sell opportunity right there if you wanted to write this down as a break and retest off the sell side liquidity. But I don't think these are entries we would have looked at because there was still buy side liquidity sitting down here. Like I said, I want this to be one-sided. Either the sellers are in control or the buyers in control. Again, right here, there was nothing. Price came below. This established the imbalance, but there was no retest. This right here, it established the imbalance, but there was no retest. So there's no opportunity there for price to come and retest this area to come back lower. 747 right now, so there could be opportunities here. I mean, if you still want to trade this late in the session, guys, there are possible opportunities right here. You'd have to look for price to come back up and retest the sell side liquidity and then come back down. So I'd look for a nice wick rejection off one of these levels here. You don't have it yet, but there's a possibility that it can come up. All right, nothing there so far, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. I don't know if I'm gonna get something today. I'm hoping we get something, but it's not looking like it. All right, we got nothing here. Price is dropping lower, but there's no retest of the there's no retest of the sell side liquidity. All right, we're getting a new sell side liquidity right here. Again, the volume is kind of low. I mean, there's sell opportunities that may come up here, but I don't know if I'll be able to get into these because we're getting so late into the session. So what I'm looking for right here is I look for price to come up, retest the sell side liquidity, provide a nice wick rejection off it, and then continuation down. I'll be looking at the order flow to see if there's any um, confirmation on the footprint, but like I mentioned earlier, I'm not really going to put too much emphasis on order flow. It's just going to be another confluence because there's going to be a lot of opportunity to miss good entries if I focus on the order flow too much. And usually they'll align anyways. If it's a big wick rejection, it'll be an automatic order flow confluence on it. All right, there's no retest of it. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. This is basically what I'm looking for. I'm looking for MPSs and I'm looking for break and retest off liquidity. But there needs to be a directional bias. I'm not just taking every single retest. And then also I'm looking at different time frames too. So if I see a time frame confluence on like the higher time frames, even better. But that's kind of like our game plan for right now. 7:53, guys. So, yeah, price just staying flat around here. I was looking to see maybe an opportunity to come up, but you can see the volume of these candles are just they're flat. There's no movement here. Ideally, we want price to come up right away, retest the level, and then come back down. But it's pretty flat right now. There's nothing going on. These candles are just they're just sitting there. So I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. Grab some water. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. I just don't see anything else. Uh, Here, let's see. iPhone said I thought he didn't want you to show it to us. Um, Kenny was okay with showing like the markups on the chart, but not the bucket. I mean the table on the side where it showed the bias. I mean, it wouldn't really make a huge difference because it's um I mean I have my own table here, but here, I'm just gonna check real quick. I'm gonna see if there's a even if there's a confluence of that between the two. Because he's looking at different stuff on his tool. Yeah, it's like way different. Yeah, because his time frame, his over here is showing that it's bullish. It's actually very bearish on mine. Oh no, this is NQ. Sorry, guys. That's where I was confused. I was like, it's good because it's in comparison. That makes sense because he's comparing it against other assets. No, his stuff is right. It lines up with mine basically. It's bearish. Mine are all bearish as well, aside from the daily. The daily's still bullish. Mine's like bullish by like 1 point. But yeah. That I mean, I wouldn't really. I mean, it's good to if you want to have a confluence between other assets, which is fine. But I don't like comparing them against other assets Because the thing is, YM and NQ, they don't follow each other. If anything, maybe YM and ES, but yeah, YM and NQ probably would not be very useful because they're completely different assets. Um, yeah, but I mean that table wouldn't really help me too much because I already have my own table here, and I'm just looking at price action on this one versus anything else. We have the other windows over here, so we have the momentum, and then we had the trend that Masij created for his. But again, it's just I think having all those tools, it's just it gives you more analysis paralysis, and you just prevents you from entering positions at all. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't really put too much emphasis behind using too many tools. I think I've kind of found ways to make things very simple in a sense. So I'm just going to keep sticking to what I'm doing. And hopefully I'll stop getting unlucky with these trades. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm gonna step away for just 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. There is nothing going on here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There is nothing here to, I mean, yeah, the market's pretty much dead for the most part. The ATR here is starting to drop a little bit lower. We're getting closer to back down to that daily midpoint. We're not there yet, but you guys can see from the market movement, there's not going to be any opportunities here over the next couple of minutes. What I've noticed from the data is that like usually, around 750, market really starts to die down a lot. I mean, after 730, it starts to slow down, but after 750, and it's always been like this, not just during the summer, but just in general, market just really slows down quite a bit. Yeah, there's just nothing here. So, all right, guys, it's about to be 8 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this up. It looks like there's nothing else right here at the moment. Um, 1 second, guys. All right, guys. So, I don't really see anything here. I was looking to see if there was any opportunities here to maybe get into something, but there just really isn't anything here. It's 8 o'clock. Again, if you guys want to keep trading, you guys can stay on the market. But like I said, I looked at the market yesterday. And usually the market dies down a little bit between 8 and 9, and then it picks back up. But from yesterday's market, this thing just stayed dead after 9 o'clock. The ATR went down to below 10, which is I've never, well, I don't want to say I've never seen it that low, but it's really, really low in compared to how, just the market moves in general. So, yeah, unfortunately today. So let me just, again, I have to I'm going to give you guys a screenshot of all my setups and stuff. And today was a really frustrating day with that position that we took. I see your question right here, Karen. I'll take a look at it. Yeah, I'll read your question a little later. But yeah, thanks for if you guys have seen anything that's been working well lately, I mean, feel free to let me know and I can take a look at it. Let me go here and just put my daily chart markup. Today is from the 13th. Taken today. Here, let me put an update or just let me see everything here. This over here was an MPS V2. MPS V2. Second markup was, I don't even know what the second markup was. I think that was a, wait, this was an MPS V2. This was a sweep. The second one was an MPS V2, which lost, I think. Yeah. No, I don't know why I marked these up over here earlier, but so sell signal retracement. Actually, no, that is an MPS V2. It's a very close one, but it's an MPS V2. Yeah, first one was MPS V2. The second one was a break and retest. Let's put BNR for break and retest. BNR third markup was entry BNR stop loss hit points. I'm gonna put some context on this one. Stop loss trade, and then I don't know what was this one over here. Well, I know this one. This was a breakout V3. So the thing with my trades now, guys, is I'm trying to take more entries. So just a heads up on that. That's why I lowered my risk so I can take more entries. Unfortunately, today we just didn't have another entry for me to jump into. I've lowered my size to like one contract because I'm just like, okay, I'll take more entries and I'll just execute more trades. The thing with that happened with this trade here, unfortunately, like I stopped out, but I couldn't get into this one because I was already in the position at the time. If it would have stopped me out earlier right here, which would have been perfectly fine, this would have been like I would have been less upset about taking getting stopped out right here than over here. And the reason for that's because this would have gave me opportunity to kind of wait and then get in for this second opportunity for the recoup of my loss. But the problem with this here is that I got spiked out so bad, so I did get hit with some slippage. Plus, I wasn't able to get into this second entry to recoup my loss. So, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, and unfortunately, that's just the what I was stuck with there. There's other entries over here that set up. I'm not going to mark these up because, or I'm not going to qualify these because they're just these are entries that wouldn't have been taken. There's no confluences behind them. We had buy side liquidity and sell side liquidity marked up against each other. So these here just wouldn't have been setups. So I'm just gonna mark that up right here for 7 and 6. These markups are market overview. There's range in some direction. All right, so I put that in the Discord, guys, if you guys want to see that. Let's see. So Karen said that she was looking at the old pivot scalp strategy, been hitting really nice late with a 40-point TP. Yeah, no, I've been looking at that strategy too, actually. I've been using my confluences with it as well. So the pivot scalp that Karen is mentioning is like price will push away from the pivots, come back, and then retest it. That actually lines up with like this candle right here. So there's another opportunity right here. Sell signal, price push down, retrace, and then push down further. So this actually would have been a nice setup right there because it had a huge wick. It kind of aligns with what I'm looking for with breaking. It's basically a break and retest, but it's off the pivots instead of the liquidity. So again, right here, kind of same situation. Price pushes up or pushes down. We have a sell signal. Price pushes back up. There's no setup there. You'd look for like a red candle with a nice wick rejection. Right here, price pushed up, retrace back. Possible nice wick rejection right there for opportunity, but it looks like you would have gone stopped out either way because that huge candle that stopped me out over here, it would have stopped out anything that was in for buys right there. Unless your stop was like 70 points, which nobody's using a 70-point stop. Yeah, and I'll take a look at it, Karen. I'll kind of use that with the order flow analysis as well. Because yeah, if you can find the confluences where we have buying pressure below, where like price pushes up, it pushes below, or even if you take it at the there's two different ways to apply that pivot scalp. Um, there's the one that I just mentioned, which is what Karen is using, where it's like kind of similar to a market flow V2, or you can take them as well with momentum signals. So for example, price pushed up, retraced on this one, confirmation on this one, and then it would have pushed right through. So. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the day. You can see here the market is pretty much slowed down quite a bit. There's no retest off the liquidity levels. The ATR is currently at 22, so it's a little slow. But all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the day. If you guys want to see my markup, I've marked up the charts over here. There's a whole channel dedicated just to daily chart markups, and I put the screenshot of the charts there and an explanation of all the setups right there. So you guys have any questions regarding that, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I'm always available. Just send me a message or talk to me in the chat, and I can answer whatever questions you guys have. But all right, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, we'll be back here, same place, same time tomorrow. Hopefully, tomorrow we'll get a little more direction. We'll be able to take some entries. Um, yeah, I was hoping we get something a little earlier in the session, but we didn't really have anything until like 7:07, where the market kind of died out a bit. But that's just how the market is. So I'll see you guys here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, let's wrap this week up.